Good afternoon. At this time, the Readiness and Management Support Subcommittee will come to order. Today, the subcommittee meets to mark up an original bill, the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2017. I first want to thank Ranking Member Senator Kaine and your staff for the bipartisan work that we've done putting this mark together. I want to specifically thank the Majority and Minority Committee staff for all their hard work on this bill. Cord Sterling, Bill Greenwald, Jeremy Hayes, Jackie Kerber, Zim Salmon, Brad Patu, John Kirk, Aaron Serafin, Ozga Golasu, and Leah Schuneman. Senator Kaine, I also want to thank Ryan Culvert of your staff for his hard work, and I would like to thank my own staff for their hard work, Brad Bowman, Ryan Clark, Rick Dressier, and Sean O'Donnell. I'm also pleased to say that the committee will once again hold this markup in open session. We have shown that we can conduct our business in a transparent manner while producing a strong bill and also protecting classified information. While I look forward to the public discussion today, I would remind colleagues that there will be no discussion of a classified or confidential nature today. If there are matters of that nature, we will obviously have to address that in a closed session. Additionally, I would ask that any senator who wishes to offer an amendment or raise an issue of a classified nature to defer that amendment for the full committee's consideration. Before proceeding, I want to make a few comments about the readiness mark. As many witnesses have testified before our committee, the United States confronts a growing and diverse range of threats, and yet the readiness of our armed forces has declined dangerously. This has occurred because our defense budget is based on artificial budget caps rather than an objective assessment of the threats we confront and a clear-eyed determination of the military we need to protect our national security interests. One of the most significant and important priorities for Congress is to eliminate once and for all the defense sequestration and the artificial budget caps that have increased the gap between the military we have and the military that we need to defend this nation. According to the Army's fiscal year 2017 posture statement, less than 1/3 of Army forces are at acceptable readiness levels to conduct sustained ground combat in a full spectrum environment against a highly lethal hybrid threat or near-peer adversary. With the Air Force, which is currently at its smallest, oldest, and least ready in its history, less than half of our combat forces are ready for a high-end fight. We have seen similar readiness challenges with the Navy and Marine Corps. Given these challenges, our mark attempts to improve readiness by authorizing roughly $140 billion in operations and maintenance funds, which would pay for maintainers, parts, equipment, and workload at bases, depots, arsenals, and shipyards around our country. For military construction, this mark authorizes more than $7 billion to support important projects all over the country for our active, reserve, and guard components. With this mark, we have also done everything in our power to cut wasteful or redundant spending and to reallocate those resources to core readiness priorities. For example, we have taken savings realized in both foreign currency fluctuations and bulk fuel and devoted those resources to funding more than $2 billion in critical unfunded requirements. This will result in improvements to training, aviation readiness, cyber reporting, and depot maintenance. This mark authorizes roughly $300 million in military construction priorities identified through the service's unfunded requirements list and pays for them by taking reductions from non-defense related projects or those that continue to face overruns and delays. I'm pleased that this mark explicitly authorizes 3 military construction projects at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard worth more than $74 million, as well as 2 military construction projects for the New Hampshire Army National Guard at Hooksett in Rochester and a $1.5 million project at Pease to install a fuselage trainer to prepare for the arrival of the KC-46A. Our small businesses play a critical role in driving innovation and ensuring that our warfighters have the best equipment that they need. That is why I'm pleased that this subcommittee's mark reauthorizes the Small Business Innovation Research, SBIR, and the Small Business Technology Transfer, STTR, programs for small defense businesses. I would like to point out something that this mark does not do. The administration has requested another round of base realignment and closure, or BRAC round, and this mark does not authorize DoD to conduct another BRAC round. I do not want to give the department the open-ended authority to pursue another BRAC round that will incur significant upfront costs when we do not have the room in our budget over the next years to afford many fundamental readiness investments. In addition, with the threats we're facing around the world, I believe that this is not the time to undertake a BRAC round. Also, as I mentioned, our military is currently sized based on artificial budget caps instead of being sized to protect our national security interests from the threats we face. In short, there's a significant and dangerous gap between the military we have and the military we need. Therefore, it makes no sense to authorize a round of base closures when many of us are hopeful that the next administration will align its proposed defense budget with the size of the military we need to face the growing threats that we see around the world. And we will need many of our bases that DoD might propose to close to do that. Historically, the subcommittee has used the chairman's mark as the markup vehicle, subject to amendment. The staff has briefed the markup recommendations in detail to the staff of the subcommittee members and to the members. Unless there is an objection, we will adopt the chairman's mark subject to amendment. Unless there is an objection, we will use the chairman's mark as a markup vehicle subject to amendment. Any objections? Thank you. There being no objection, it is so ordered. At this point, I would like to offer the ranking member, Senator Kane, the opportunity to make an